Can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus on me? Hands in the soap, how the faucet's running and I keep looking at you.
So I asked a question earlier today on my Instagram, and the question was, who is your go-to person for life advice? And thank you so much to everyone who's actually been commenting and responding. And hopefully by the time you see this, the question is still up so that you can also respond. And if not, it's okay. There will be other questions. But the reason I asked this is because one thing I always say is that I'm generally not a person who's jealous or envious. However, I am very envious of anyone who has an older sister because I feel like there are so many things that I have had to navigate alone, in the dark, scared, just because I didn't have a sister that I could seek advice from. Granted, I know not every sisterly relationship is that cute type of community where you can ask random things. But I think the majority of the people that I do know who do have sisters, especially older sisters, have had a bit of a head start to life because they get to see things before it happens to them so then they can like prepare better. I don't know if I'm making sense, but anyways, it's not meant to be a formal thing. It's not meant to be a formal channel, but hi guys, my name is Nogushe and I am your digital big sister. Someone called me this a while ago and it was in an article and it just kind of stuck with me. So now I'm coining it and I'm making it my own. And this channel is obviously mine. It's my diary. It's Nogushe's diary. But this segment of Digital Big Sister is me hoping to be a digital big sister to someone who is in the same predicament as me or does have a sister but isn't really comfortable speaking to them, or if you're the older sister, okay? Because your younger sister will probably have a head start, but you are still navigating it alone. So hopefully, Nogushe, your digital big sister, will be able to assist. But what I also want to say is that it's not just about me. I am one person. I have one point of view. So I actually need all of us to come together as a collective. So please make sure that you are hitting subscribe and make sure that you are following digital.big.sister on Instagram and TikTok so that when these questions come through, you can also actually comment and you can also provide your viewpoint because there are many ways to skin a cat. I hate that phrase because it's just so dark. But there are many ways to tackle the same thing. And hopefully, when you bring your viewpoint, the anonymous person who's sending us this message will get somewhat of an idea of what to do. Okay, cool. Anyways, before I get into the dilemmas, because I do have dilemmas, can you imagine? Episode 1, I already have dilemmas, and I promise you guys, I did not make them up. I have actually been piloting Digital Big Sister at some of my conversations, like when I'm having keynotes or like when I'm just addressing people. So sometimes I do say, oh, if you ever have a question, just pop it in Digital Big Sister, and one of these days I'll respond. And I never know who it is who's saying the message because I usually say this to a very big crowd and usually a crowd of people who I don't know because I didn't know if I was actually going to do this, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So yeah, if you have any dilemma or you have something you'd like us to weigh in on, or you just want to give us a bit of your juice, a bit of your ndabas, because I do love easy ndaba and I love it when they come from you. Make sure you are using the link in our bio or in the description box. And basically, you're going to go to a platform. It's a Google form and it'll ask you for 3 things. You fill in your nickname. So I don't want your real name. If you want to use your real name or a fake name, it's up to you, but just give me your name. Tell me what category your thing falls under. So we have relationships, career, studies, work or business. We have family, friendship, self growth, mental health, financial health, life decisions, and general. But these categories are not meant to be exhaustive, so you can ask us anything. I just put these here to obviously try guide us. But if you want to ask us about why the sun is yellow, please go ahead and ask, okay? I will probably have to Google why it's yellow, but I will definitely give you a response. And make sure you do follow us on Instagram because that's the only way you're going to make sure you see these responses, but also so that you can also comment, okay? This will only work if there are a lot of us who are all providing help. Think of UCT Just Kidding, think of Confession ZA, but make it sisterhood. That's what we're trying to build. We want to have a community where there's so many people, and at some point, hopefully soon, we have other people who are also on the channel who are also weighing in on things, so that it's not just Nogushe's voice, even though, My voice is not too bad. Ngadlala, I squeak sometimes. But anyways, I'm actually trying to be very cool, calm, and collected. I don't know if you guys can pick it up. But hopefully in the future, we have other people, we have guests, because, hey, it's a sisterhood, and the more sisters, the merrier. And I do want to say shout out to everyone who has played a sisterly role in my life. You guys have done so much without probably realizing it. I'm talking about like my older cousins and my younger cousins. I'm talking about my friends. I'm talking about my sister-in-laws, my squeezers. I think everyone has played a sisterly role. Also, even my friends' older sisters. I know whenever it's their birthdays, I always say thank you so much for being a big sister. And I know they probably think I'm just saying it as like a general thing, but I really, really mean it, because I view them as people that I could go and ask for advice from should I ever need it. And as someone who did not have a sister, not even a big sister, I really appreciated knowing that the door was open. But anyways, before I get too mushy and yabba, let's get into the questions, because Zining, where am I going to start? Okay, let me start from the top. Let's start from the top.
Hey, can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus on me?
Okay, so we have Work Princess. Love that name. And this is about life decisions. How seriously do recruiters, employers, and clients look at our social pages? Because I love to laugh and participate in social talks, especially on Twitter, but I can't help but worry that in the eyes of professional people, they might find my comments to be too much. Actually, good question. I assume that they do checks. They do. But I have actually never been asked professionally about my tweets, except one time, but that was more related to the book deal, where they had seen something. But in terms of like work and other professional settings and like, like serious things, no, I have never been asked about it. However, I will also say that there was a time where I rebranded. So I used to have a different handle, because when I was at UCT, yeah, I had a lot of hot takes, and I stand by all of them. Hey, I have never tweeted anything that I didn't truly believe. And even when people say, "Oh my word, why aren't you folding?" No, I'm not going to fold, because I said what I said. But I was like, just to be careful, just to make sure that my name isn't associated with some of my hot takes, and not necessarily hot takes, but it's more when people respond. So whatever I say, I can stand by it. But when people respond, and they obviously tag your handle and your username, that you can't control. You can't even delete that. So I wanted to distance myself from that. So the condensed answer is, I don't think that they do a check. Like, I don't think they run it when they see your CV. However, should it come across, or should they be familiar with your handle because you trend quite frequently, they will obviously probably take it into account. They'll have some bias. So if you're someone who's known to have hot takes, and maybe the recruiter or whoever's interviewing you has seen you on their socials and they have a different opinion, that might work against you. But I don't think it's like on a form to say, okay, let's do a Instagram search. Let's see what they're posting on Instagram. Next question is from Anonymous, and it's about life decisions. And it says, where do people meet their boyfriends? I'm running out of ideas, and I'm already late for when I wanted to be married by. I don't mean to laugh, but it's so funny that there's other people who also have like a marriage age, because I also had a marriage age. I didn't meet it. I got married after my intended marriage age. But where do people meet people? Angas. And I don't want to try and assume. So guys, if you're watching this, please do let me know, where are you meeting your people? I'm saying Angazi because my friends have actually told me to stop giving dating advice, and my younger brother. They told me I've been out of the game for too long. My advice is outdated. But if you are willing to hear from your digital big sister, there are multiple places. Firstly, okay, not firstly, but where I met my husband, it was online, it was on Tinder. However, I know that Tinder now is not like Tinder back then. And also, I had different safeguards that I had in place. Like, it had to be a person within this age range, and they had to be a student. And like, I had a couple of criteria, but I'm going to go into it in a lot more detail in my video with my husband, because we're going to do a how we met on our couples channel. So if you love a love story, you must go and subscribe. But people are still meeting people online. It still is a viable way to meet people. You just need to be very careful, because there's also a lot of scammers and people who are trying to hurt you or take things from you. And then obviously they know that the easiest way to target you is through love. And sometimes it's not even immediate. It's not like, hey, let's meet up, and then they do something bad. Sometimes it's like they're willing to play the long game, like 3 months, and then they only pull, the what's the saying? But they pull the thing, whatever, you get it. So, okay, online, that's one. A second one is through a friend, and I think this is actually quite a trusted version of meeting people. So if a friend of a friend is also single and they pay you up, I've tried to pay people up and it didn't really work out well. So I'm also someone who shies away from paying people up, especially because you also feel like now you're responsible for the relationship, even though you shouldn't be. Like, I just thought you guys would hit it off, but like, when someone doesn't like the other person, or if someone is doing too much, then you're constantly the person they talk to, and then that gets awkward. Okay, so, but if your friends know people, they can always refer you, or they can host. And that's a really great one. They host you. So if your friend who's dating and their partner is also like obviously dating them and they host together, you can meet their friends there. But this also assumes that you like your friend's partner, or you think that they have a good social circle, which might not actually work out, because in general, friends don't have the same type. When I look at the type of guys that I like versus my friends, yeah, we do not like the same type of people. So I don't know if it would work, but try it out. But then also, you can also go to places where a lot of people hang out. So for young professionals, I'll give you an example. In Joburg, Tiger's Milk Fourways, apparently it's always a jump. I've only been once, and my husband's like, no, it's usually a jump. And then in Cape Town, it's Tiger's Milk Century City. I've been there multiple times, and that is a jump, especially when there's like a Springboks game. It's usually really, really packed. And for me, it's a bit overwhelming, but I mean, I was like, if I was in the market and if I was looking for people, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. But because I don't want to say like, yeah, I don't know how to. Thing is, I also don't like being hit on. I get tired. So when you're in a space like that, sometimes people don't even realize that you are with a person. Did I even have a ring on that? Yeah, actually, what? People don't even care if you're wearing a ring. They don't care. They still want to mac and hit on you. So I find that disrespectful. So that's why I'm like, not really my scene. But if I was single, probably would be my scene. And then lastly, people say work, but I don't know about how I feel about dating at work. I have never dated at work. Oh my gosh, I've never dated at work. Well, it's not really shocking, but because I met my husband in varsity, but I've never dated at work. But I have seen people who have dated, but it just gets really awkward if and when you guys do break up. And also sometimes companies do have policies around dating at work. So just have a look at that. Make sure you're not like breaking laws, silly laws that could cost you your job just because, and also it's just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's the love of your life, sure. Like if you're really sure, then go for it. But if you're like, they don't really fit a lot of the things that you like, but you're just gonna try it out, yeah, don't waste your time. Next question from Anonymous about life decisions. And the question says, I live at home and thinking of moving out so I can experience a bit of freedom. Is it worth it? It will mean I can't save as much as I was in the past. Oi, I know someone who's actually going through this exact predicament. So even in my response, I'm going to try to be objective so that I'm not assuming that this person will be listening and then they'll think I'm talking to them. So what do you want to do? if you are strong and patient enough, I think you can teach your family or train your family to let you be a lot more independent and give you a bit more freedom. I'm assuming freedom in terms of moving around without having to answer questions, or seeing people, or going on dates, or having sleepovers with your partner if you have a partner, without having to duck and dive and make up like 5 million stories. And I get it, because one of the reasons I actually did not want to study or work in my hometown was because I knew that my family was overbearing, and I'm the only daughter, as you guys clearly know, because I told you I have no sisters. But I knew that I would have a non-existent social life, forget even a boyfriend. And I mean, I probably would have had a boyfriend, but it would have been like oh, I miss you so much. Oh, and hey, I did that in high school. I did not want to go through it in varsity. So so I get you. So if you are strong enough and patient, you need to train your family and obviously help them understand where you are, that you're growing, and that this is what you want. And if you are contributing at home, for example, if you're contributing towards the mortgage or groceries or whatever, they also probably won't want you to leave, because if you leave, it means that there's less income in the whole house. So they will probably, in exchange, give you a bit more freedom if you ask for it. However, if you feel like this is not a conversation you can ever, bring up, you cannot address it because your parents or your siblings will assume the worst, or it just might not work logistically. For example, if your partner also lives at home and you live at home, and then it's a question of where are you guys visiting each other and having Netflix and chill dates if you want to have them. This is also me assuming you're an adult. If you are in high school, yeah, let's not move in with boys if you're in high school, please. So I'm assuming you're an adult. If both you and your partner are unable to host one another, then I understand why the need becomes a lot more urgent. But then it's a really expensive thing that you're about to go into that you might not need. And I mean, if you're only seeing each other on the weekends, you need to ask yourself also, could you not then just use that money to go on staycations once a month? You're still using that amount, but you're still seeing your partner, but you're also still able to live with your family. I don't know, just think about it. But if in the end you do decide to go and move out and live on your own, perfectly fine. You will enjoy it. And if you do it, I actually think you should try saving in advance so that when you move into your place, you already have your furniture. Because the worst thing about leaving your comfortable home to go sit in an apartment that doesn't have anything is that it's cold, you'll be miserable, and you'll feel like your life is regressing, but it's just normal. You'll be fine. But if you can plan ahead and start buying your things ahead of time, do it. Okay, maybe not the bed and the couch, because obviously those are big items, you can save for them, but like your blenders, your microwaves, you can definitely start buying those things so that when you do move in, it's still nice, it's still cute. Okay. Right, okay, we're moving. Okay, we've got another one. This is from Wheezy. This person gave us a name, so shout out Wheezy F baby, and the F is for flaw. And this is about relationships, my favorite. What's the best way to make a relationship work when moving in together one day? It's as if I had seen, and guys, also, I didn't actually say this. When these messages come in, I don't read them because I also don't want to over prepare in my head, and then it's not like authentic when I'm talking to you guys, or talking to myself. This is also me assuming people will watch. It could just be for me. It also could just be for my nieces, because I know my nieces are watching. So, hi darlings, this is your mom Nani. But also, don't watch this, guys. Like, you can watch it when you're in high school. Okay. In matric actually. But the point is, I haven't prepped for these because I want to be real and I want to be a big sister. I don't want to be an authoritative or give responses that are clean and so well rehearsed, because please, I have the finance channel for that. I have to make sure that I really do toe the line on that channel. So this channel is not going to be that. But the best way to make a relationship work when moving in together one day, talk about it. talk about why you're doing it, and also make sure that you're both on the same page on most things. You won't be on the same page on everything. People are different, and also some things you kind of learn about a person once you're living with them, but also ask yourself why you're doing it. Are you moving in together to save money, or are you moving in together because you think that that's where your relationship is at? Are you moving in together because you guys get married in the... Ooh, why am I speaking so fast? Are you moving in together because you guys think you're getting married in the near future, like in a year and a bit? So you also just want to simulate that. So ask yourself. Also, just think about how you guys moving in together will have an impact on your guys' relationship with your families. I'm saying this because some parents view cohabiting, because it will be cohabiting, like the biggest sin on this earth. Whereas other parents are just like, we'd prefer it if you didn't do it, but like, So ask yourself those questions, because you also don't want to damage those relationships for something that may not actually be worthwhile at the end of it, because living with someone actually takes a lot of maturity, and you guys need to have very good communication skills, and it's not the same as visiting each other. I'm saying this because when I was dating my husband, I basically lived at his place. I hope my parents are not watching this, but actually, even if they are, it's okay. But I basically moved into his place. I think it was like week 2. Week 2, I brought itawula, I brought a toothbrush, I brought a set of panties, pajamas, and an outfit. And I did this because every time I used to visit, I'd have to ask myself, am I going to sleep over? And then I'd lie and say, no, I'm not going to sleep over. And then I sleep over, and then I don't have clothes, and then now I don't have a toothbrush. Now I'm feeling awkward. Now I don't have a face cloth, So I was like, let me just buy a second set that will stay at his place. Also, we were definitely dating at that point, because I wasn't going to leave my stuff at just a guy I was vibing with. No, also, I don't do vibes. And if you have a question about that, you must ask me, okay? If you do have questions about anything that I'm saying, any of the advice that I'm giving, send me a message, okay? Oh, actually, no. If you're commenting on this, you can actually leave a comment. You don't have to send me a message. Leave a comment, because if you don't agree with me, it's okay. But I want to know why. But back to, when you're dating and you're visiting each other, it's really nice and it's cute and all of that. But it's still and even if you are there every single day, it's still very different from moving in officially together. When you guys are still visiting, but potentially living together, but just visiting, there's always the safety net of, I can always go back to my place. And I actually told the people at his place, because they asked me like, oh my gosh, I didn't even want to talk about it, but oh my word, it was so embarrassing. The private accommodation introduced a new rule because of me. I was like, but then I was like, they're rude, because I knew this other girl who was also doing the same thing, and she blended in. So there were a lot of white people there, and she was white, so she blended in. Whereas with black people, I think they kind of knew all the black people who were at that res. So I kind of stuck out, but I found that very rude and very racist. So I was like, if you're going to do this to me, you must do it to the other person. But also, I just don't get why I was fighting so much for a place that I don't live in. But I think I was just upset because they made me look like a squatter. And I was not a squatter. I was paying accommodation for a place I just didn't live in. But I was definitely still paying. But the point is, it was nice, because when they said, no, you can't sleep over, you have to sign out by this time, I left easily. Okay, I had a place. I had my own nice raise too. Okay, and if you don't have that option, or if, for example, if my boyfriend at the time, husband now, had such a big fight and he had kicked me out, I would have been stranded. Where would I have gone? He's never done that. He will probably never do that. My husband's very sweet, especially to me. He's a very nice guy, and that's a very important thing for me, because, yeah, you cannot be mean to me. Like, the whole world is mean. You cannot be the one person that I trust with everything in me and still be mean to me. Like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah. So, yeah. But anyways, that is my 2 cents. So if you guys do move in together, talk about it. And also, if you guys are moving in and it's like a joint lease and whatever, ask yourselves, who's going on the lease? In the event of breaking up, who remains with the lease? Can you even afford to remain with the lease if you guys are not paying it together? Also, who is paying for the rent? Don't just assume that, oh no, the guy will pay for the rent and then I pay for groceries. Don't set yourself up like that, especially if you're still a student and especially if you're both young professionals. Okay, so long story short, guys, I can never do a long story short. I actually do a short story long. That's my problem. But what's the best way to make a relationship work when moving in together? Talk. Talk and don't take it personal. And the moment you feel like you can't be honest or you can't have a nice conversation about things that are bothering you, then you have a problem. I also want to say, try and have a monthly check-in where you guys just have a talk and you're just checking. You call it a happiness update and ask what made you happy this month. What do you think I can improve on? Those type of things. Just make sure you guys are talking, because you don't want someone sitting with a lot of resentment and the other person thinking that everything is fine, everything's hunky-dory, but the other one is secretly plotting, I can't wait to leave. I'm actually looking for another place, and then, dropping the other person unexpectedly. That's not cool. All right. We're almost done. Chloe said, this is for careers and studies. So Chloe said, what do you think a good ratio of money to save is, I guess, compared to earned? Konji, you guys will also ask sisters about financial things. I forgot. I was actually hoping that it would be like very emotional things and not anything technical. I don't have an answer off the top of my head, but let me think about it. Maybe I'll answer at the end of this video, but more likely I'll do a video on the Lomaku by Noguhle channel, the big finance channel. But also, now that we are here, I think you can also just grab a copy of Boss Your Money. It will kind of outline what you should typically be doing and how you can calculate these ratios if you're someone who does love ratios. I know it even has like a 4% rule. Not me saying I know, like I didn't write the book. I did write the book, but we also have like a 4% rule, which kind of helps you determine what how much your savings or retirement balance, or how much you need to have invested, basically, so that you don't need to work a day in your life going forward. Oh my word, why did that sound so wordy? But you basically calculate the total amount that you are working towards, and then thereafter, if you want to work, you can, and if you don't, it's okay. You don't need to, because your monthly income, like your withdrawals from that investment, will never, or not will never, because there's always something, but your withdrawals will not exceed the amount that it grows by. Wow, that does not sound cute. Okay, but point is, I'm not in my Boss Your Money head right now, and I'm not in the Noguhle, the accountant head right now. I'm a sister. But Chloe, save as much as you can. My dad usually says 10% of your salary. So, maybe you can use that. And if you can go to 20 and 30%, even better. But 10%, good place to start. And good place to start, but also very hard. So if you can't do 10%, it's okay. Try 5. If you can't do 5, try 2%. And then hopefully you grow this percentage over time. Okay. And when it comes to, money and saving money and all of those habits, it does take time. So be easy on yourself. Okay, that's an alarm to say that I need to be doing something else. So I need to go soon. But let's cover, I think I've got 3 more. Oh, I've actually got 4 more. Kingsmead asked, if your mom is really strict and you want to start a side job, how do you ask her? By the way, she's a lawyer for financial crime. Okay. What if one day I have a kid and my kid also asks like this? I hope that I will not be too strict. But no, I think your mom is strict within reason. And because the name of this is Kingsmead, I know that this is one of my participants that is still in high school. So I'm going to speak to it to a high school lens. So firstly, I think there are labor laws around how old you have to be before you start working like a proper job. And your mom being a lawyer, she definitely knows this. But secondly, I also want you to know that your mom is being strict because she's also probably exposed to what happens or what can happen. I know when I was in high school, I also wanted to go work. So back then, we had a thing where people were working as waitresses and waiters at Spur. Whilst in high school, like on the weekend, and I really wanted to do it because I also thought it helped me like earn extra pocket money, because the pocket money my dad was giving me was not enough, and like I asked for more, and he just said no. And I also just, like I also wanted to be independent really quickly. So I wanted to be able to say, okay, I can control how much money I make. If I work more shifts, I make more money. Long story short, my dad said, no, you will not go work as a waitress. And then I was really sad. And then he said, tell me how much they pay at Spur and I'll give it to you as your pocket money. Now, that sounds great, right? But it isn't, because that's not what I was actually going in there for. I also wanted work experience. I also just wanted to gain some independence. My dad did pay me the Spur money for 1 month and never again. And I said, okay, well, you promised that you'd pay me this money. And he said, no. Are you dreaming? So, he kind of stopped my dream of working at Spur. But I understand why. And I asked him why. So maybe also ask your mom what her reservations are, so that you can also try find a side job or a side hustle that accommodates those reservations. So my dad's reservations were, I was a kid and at Spur they sold alcohol, so he didn't want me working in a place that had alcohol. The second thing was, my dad also didn't want older guys coming in and potentially hitting on me or like asking me out, and I was a kid, and he felt like it would expose me to that. And then thirdly, my dad was worried that the money wouldn't be worth the effort. So he was like, he knows that people, oh my word, did wait, did it go for everyone or was it just us? No, it has to be everyone. Guys, this is so embarrassing. Huh? No, it's everyone. Guys, and it's raining. They're gonna say the coal is wet. Okay, let me just finish this point. This is so embarrassing. Anyways, so my dad was like, he also didn't want me to feel like the effort wasn't worth.
That sound from the TikTok. Oh, no, Shadi!
Okay, relax, I'm still recording.
Let me give you some light. Hold on.
Okay, you can, no. You can just hold this. No, I don't need, no, you're overcomplicating it. I don't need it. Thank you.
Okay, I don't want to hold that.
No, okay, then leave it. Oh my word, my husband is such a cute helper, but he's overcomplicating things. And no, okay, no, I need the Wi-Fi more than I need light,
Why?
because I want to upload this video.
Okay.
Oh, no, that looks ghetto. Off. Rather this, please. No. Also, people are gonna think, how come we have Gessie? Okay, anyways, thank you. It's cute. Thanks, ma. Love. Ngiyabonga. See, I told you guys he's a really nice and kind guy. Thank you. Okay. What? I thought you were gonna kiss me on camera. I was about to tell you that I'm not editing this video. It's just going up live, just like this.
Okay.
No! Okay, guys, to wrap up my point about my dad and the questions that I didn't get to, I promise, guys, I will get to them. It's just that I don't want to record this video and I'm in the dark. But back to lawyer, mom, financial crimes, but you want a job. My dad also said he felt like the effort that I'd put into the job wouldn't be worth the amount I'd get paid. And he was also speaking to tipping culture, and he knew that it wasn't really that great, especially back then. I think it was about 2012, 2013. And then lastly, my dad didn't want me to be distracted from my schoolwork. So that was really important for him, because he was like, you need to give yourself a fair shot with your academics. He wanted straight A's, and I'm glad I was able to give him straight A's. And I'm glad I got straight A's, because it also opened up so many doors for me, like in terms of getting a scholarship for varsity, and even like landing jobs before I even started my degree. So even with your mom, maybe these are the reservations she has. So try to think about those and then implement them. But from the top of my head, and guys, in the comments, please do recommend jobs or like side hustles for university, for high school students, like things that are friendly for children. But I would say tutoring. So tutoring kids who are in the younger grades, especially at your school, so that you can do it on the school grounds, but obviously still have their parents pay you or pay your mom. And I'm saying school grounds because I don't think your mom would be comfortable with you going to other people's houses and tutoring them like in their personal homes, because then you don't know what's happening behind the closed doors. Another thing you could do is potentially wash people's sneakers, wash shoes. And by sneakers and shoes, it could be people in your family. So the next time you guys are at a family event, maybe you can ask your mom to tell your aunts and uncles and cousins in advance that, hey, Kingsmead, because that's your name, Kingsmead will be washing shoes. If you'd like your pair to be washed, please bring 20 Rand or 50 Rand, and you'll get it washed whilst we're all at Granny's house. Another thing that you could do is some of those crochet things, like those little plush toys but are made with crochet. If you're artsy fartsy like me, you could make those and sell them. People could buy them for baby showers. So maybe your mom would handle the exchange part of things, but you could be the one who's making it. You could also sell at your school. So if your school has a market day, definitely that's actually a really great place to make money. And if you also want to do like crafts and stuff, if you want to make jewelry, maybe you'd like that stuff, because I used to. You could also sell that stuff. Maybe ask your mom to buy you the materials. You can source them from various places. You can even ask her to source it from Shein. It might be like cheap. I actually love Shein, guys. I have so many things, especially like stationery and like artsy, crafty hobby things. I'm actually going to leave my link. I'm doing something I didn't think I was going to do, but I'm going to leave my link to all the things that I've like added that I've either bought or I'm planning to buy for my hobbies, but also for work, because I'm a creative person. So I do love creative activities, and I'm also in my pink era, as you can see, so you will probably see a lot of pink there. But from me, thank you so much for submitting, guys, all your questions. I have 2 or 3 more that I didn't cover. And they're actually quite long. I have one from Ambitious Overthinker, another one from Left Behind Sister, and then another one from Anonymous. And I promise I will answer those in the next episode. And remember, guys, we're getting 2 episodes in 1 month, so don't stress. It won't take too long. And if you have enjoyed this, please make sure that you do give me a like and subscribe. But also make sure you do follow digital.big.sister on TikTok and Instagram, so that you can actually see these responses and more. And you can also comment and help some of our sisters who are asking us these questions, because hey, what's better than one sister? 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, all the way to 3,000, which I hope is what we get to in a year. But guys, from me, myself and my name is Noguhle, and I'm your digital big sister. And I'm sorry that this video ended off in the dark. Hey, Yazije, I thought we were done with load shedding, but clearly not. Okay, might not even be no. Is it load shedding? I don't know. But anyways, the good news is I haven't cooked, and neither has my husband. So now we have to buy food because it's an emergency. Okay, bye.
Can't focus on